Talladega Superspeedway, nicknamed Dega, and formerly named Alabama International Motor Speedway long. The total peak capacity of Talladega is around 175,000 spectators, with the main grandstand capacity being about 80,000. During the 1960s, William Bill France Sr. wanted to build a track faster and longer than his Daytona International Speedway. After failed attempts to reason with local government in Orange County, North Carolina, with the Occoneechee Speedway, he attempted to find a new spot for a racetrack and make his idea a reality. After failing to secure a location near the Research Triangle around Raleigh, France then looked around between Atlanta and Charlotte around Greenville, South Carolina to build the track, as it would take away business from the tracks there. However, Sunday blue laws prevented races from being held on Sundays in the state of South Carolina. After failing to agree to terms with the government, France set his sights elsewhere. He then looked between Atlanta and Birmingham along Interstate 20. With the support of Gov. George Wallace, France broke ground on an old airfield 47 miles east of Birmingham and 100 miles west of Atlanta on May 23, 1968. The track opened on September 13, 1969, at a cost of $4 million. The track was named the Alabama International Motor Speedway. The name would remain for 20 years until 1989, when the facility's name was changed to Talladega Superspeedway. In the first race at the track, all the original drivers abandoned the track due to tire problems, which allowed France to hire substitute drivers, with the winner being Richard Brickhouse. After the first race, Talladega hosted 2 Cup Series races a year, one of which would become part of the 10-race NASCAR Cup Series playoff format. Since its opening year, Talladega has hosted many races and has been repaved 4 times. Talladega has also had many first-time winners, such as Richard Brickhouse, Ron Bouchard, Bobby Hillin Jr., Davey Allison, Brian Vickers, Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Bubba Wallace. A 4-mile infield road course operated from the track's founding until 1983. In the 1970s, 6 IMSA championship races were held at the Speedway, including a 6-hour race in 1978. The International Motorsports Hall of Fame Museum was opened in 1983. In May 2006, Talladega started to resurface the track and the apron. Construction started on May 1 and lasted until September 18. The first race on the resurfaced racetrack was a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race on October 7. In December 2013, the ISC announced removal of the 18,000-seat Allison Grandstand on the backstretch, reducing the track's seating capacity to 80,000. The 4,000 FT backstraightaway was renamed the Alabama Gang Superstretch, in time for the 2014 Aaron's 499 held in the spring. Speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour trial in 44.270 seconds, which surpassed the previous record held by Bill Elliott set in 1987. But did not replace the record because it was a radio test and not a NASCAR-sanctioned event. Buddy Baker was the first driver to run at a speed over 200 miles per hour, doing so in 1982 with a speed of 200.176 miles per hour. In May 1987, Bobby Allison, after contacting debris from a blown engine, cut his right rear tire while going through the tri-oval section of the track. The car was vaulted airborne. His car damaged a section of the front stretch catch fence, but did not enter the spectator area. NASCAR imposed rule changes to slow the cars after the incident, with a 1988 rule requiring cars running there in a Daytona to again use restrictor plates. The most often cited reason is a fear that the increasing speeds were exceeding the capabilities of the tires available at the time, as high-speed tire failure had led to some terrific crashes at slightly lower speeds. The plates limit the amount of air and fuel entering the intake manifolds of the engine, greatly reducing the power of the cars and hence their speed. Similarly to restrictor plates, NASCAR changed the package for Daytona and Talladega to use tapered spacers, which are larger throttle bodies compared to the plates, and restrict less airflow. allowing larger horsepower, increased closing rates, and slightly higher speeds. This has led to an extremely competitive style of racing at Talladega and Daytona. Allison's crash was very similar to Carl Edwards's airborne crash at the 2009 Aaron's 499. The reduced power affects not only the maximum speed reached by the cars but the time it takes them to achieve their full speed as well, which can be nearly one full circuit of the track. The racing currently seen at Talladega is extremely tight, often in rows of 3 or 4 cars, and sometimes even 5 lanes wide on the straightaways throughout most of the field. As the track is wide enough to permit such racing, breaking away from the pack is very difficult as well. Such close quarters, however, makes it extremely difficult for a driver to avoid an incident as it is unfolding.